Yes, I'm ready to begin now. Just make the announcement. Okay, welcome everyone to the 5th Kids Knowledge Seekers Workshop, brought to you by the Keshe Foundation. And my name is Rick Crammond. I'll be your host today, along with Kevin Devani, who will also speak briefly before we hear from Mr. Mayran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, who's in the Spaceship Institute now. And we'll see some live video brought to us by the Spaceship Institute. And last week we discussed various aspects of plasma and magnetic fields, and brought in a way that children can understand. And we hope today to penetrate that area more and attempt to learn in a deeper way some of the principal concepts that make up our universe. Okay, Kevin, would you like to say something before we begin the conversation with Mr. Keshe?
To the environmental conditions in order to create.
Phone. Sorry, I didn't have the microphone on live stream there. For your, could we redo that? What you just said there, Kevin, please.
Yeah, sure. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Rick. I wanted to know what importance does the environmental conditions, which you always emphasize in your talks, that creating the environmental conditions is vital, is the key to creating whatever we need at that point of time. Again, talking about magnetic and gravitational fields, which I, for a short time now actually truly accept as a given fact that when you explained very, very clearly in the Spanish Knowledge Seekers Workshop, you talked about that the physics we've been taught is actually half the physics, whether it's Newton or Tesla or whoever. So is that what I as a kid at school wasn't taught, that it's only somehow one half and where's the other one? So
good evening, good morning to the children and the parents of the children and the grandparents. I was told that adults are learning more from the children program about the plasma than they did from the adults program. So it's good to be able to bridge that gap through the children. Maybe we are all child at heart. In reality, what you have seen is not that we were not taught. We were not told, and something the teacher kept back. The reality is that even the teachers did not know. They were not taught. And with a human being, there is a school of thought, there is a school of way of thinking, is that we accept what the teachers tell us because we have to come to trust the teacher. But in so many ways, teachers themselves were not taught the right thing. So what do you expect? You cannot blame them. But in so many ways, the teachers were taught by the scientists and the ideology of was accepted to man for centuries, for decades. So our parents, our grandparents did not understand that there are two type of fields for the whole thing to be in balance, and that is one has to pull and one has to push. And in our life, we were taught about magnets. We played with the magnets, but they never told us that the pulling side, what we call magnets, are gravity. And even the teachers should have thought about that while they were teaching. And most of it comes through the use of language, gravitation. We gravitate towards something and somebody, or something gravitates or gets pulled. So don't blame the teachers, as teachers themselves were not taught themselves the full story. Now what we understand the full story is that you have to be able to think for yourself and understand everything if it makes sense. As a lot of children know, adults know, my quest for understanding gravity started at a young age of 8. And this has been a lifetime work to be where we are. And now, on the other hand, it has to be understood that never in the history of man knowledge has ever been dispensed with so freely and so openly. And in so many ways, we have to, our inventor, Mr. Armand, just delivered to us our solar system. So you will see it in a minute when we can focus on it. So, yes, but you have to cover your computer, as you know. I'll try to turn the computer. No problem. So what has happened is that teachers were never told about the gravity, even though they could see the gravity. Teachers were never, they themselves never understood that gravity is interaction between two fields. If the teachers could understand this, or could have added up to it, or summoned to this point, we would have had a full understanding of the whole setup. So what it is very simple. For you, for example, to play a football, you need a ball, and you make a football pitch, be it on the street, be it on the in a garden, or being in a football stadium. So in so many ways, you create a condition to be able to play the game. If you are a girl and you love cooking, you don't sit in front of the oven or sit of the pan and wait the food or a cake to come out of the oven or the pan. You create a condition. You create heat to do the cooking. You create, you make the flour. You go and buy the butter. So that is creating a condition, creating an environment that the temperature of the oven is right or temperature of the pan is right, that you can cook. You make a football, you don't go playing football with a tennis ball. This is what it is about. You create a condition to be able to play the game. In the world of plasma, in the world of physics, it's the same. We create a condition. Once we create a condition, that condition leads to interaction and outcome. You buy a football, putting it on the ball, it doesn't go. You have to kick it, and you have to have somebody else to play with you. That'll be a team, or somebody you can straight play game with. So this is what we do. That's what creating condition is. In magnetic fields, in plasma, we create a condition in how close two plasmas come together. And when they come too close together, which part of the plasma interacts? This meaning that this plasma has a specific strength, and this plasma has its own specific strength. Not all the fields from this ball can interact with all the fields in this ball. Some do, and the ones which they do allows them to interfere, allows them to show a result. So what we do, we create a condition. We bring the two plasmas close to each other. We bring two plasmas away from each other. And where they find a balance in the field, we say, okay, this is their position. So in the world of plasma, we don't do anything that you're not used to in the world of your work, play, or in how you set up to do your cooking or playing football. We create a condition. And in plasma world and the world of creation, the conditions can only be created by the strength of the magnetic field in respect to each other. What this means? This means, as you know, you never see a bird to play with a donkey or with a horse. Very seldom, if it happens. But you see horses playing with the horses and the birds fly with the birds. This is the same thing in the world of plasma. Plasma, given the strength, they interact with each other. What is the strongest, according to its strength, interacts with the other one. And how we manipulate and we create the environment that the plasmas come together, and how they position in respect to each other, creates the environment that whatever is in that environment can be affected or not affected by the fields. So it's very much when you have a magnet made of metal, it only attracts or interacts with the iron. Now with the plasma technology, understanding that you can control different fields, different sizes, the man for the first time has the ability to create a condition where you can make magnets which interact and attract or repel wood. The word of magnet and magnetism does not apply anymore only to iron or iron-based connected materials. So, in the new world of plasma, you can create a plasmatic condition where, for example, you want to make a magnet for plastic. This is become possible. Where if you go somewhere and say, I want a magnet for plastic, they laugh at you. Says, magnet cannot be for plastic. Or you say, I want a magnet for a wood. Does not exist. But now we have learned the process of creating a condition that we can make gravitational and magnetic fields of the plasma of the wood. So when you bring a wood, it can attract the wood. In the coming time, we will show you these things, because we are in the process of measuring in time in the next few months and years. Then, for example, if you lose your, let's say, teddy bear in the house, you can have a machine that creates what is in that teddy bear, and the teddy bear comes to you. This is not the jokes anymore. These are realities of what it is. This is the reality of the plasma technology. You create a condition. You want to go to the moon, you want to go to the Mars, you create a condition that matches the condition of the environment of the gravitational magnetic field of the moon. So what happens? You are attracted to it. You don't need to burn fuel. What this means is that if you remember these magnets, I have to see which side you are that I can play, that you can see. If you remember these magnets, you see if you go too fast, what happened? The magnet broke. Split in apart. So it was in the right environment, the right pressure. But there we are. So I try to bring the camera down and then we put it back up again that we can see it. Because we're going to small magnets, then it's too far the camera for you to see it. So what happens is that this here is a magnet from metals, from iron. So what happens is that's what is gravitating. I create a condition in a way these two gravitate to each other. They pull. But while they are pulling, I can create a condition where those two attract, but this one is kicked out. Look, whatever I do, they go away. They don't want to be with this one. But once it's the right position, they come together. So I create an environment. This environment is very simple. In the world of plasma, we only understand one thing: attracting or repelling. It means we want to be with part or we don't want to be with part, or we create a condition to be a part. It's very much like when you make a party. You create an environment that the friends come home and they play. So this is very much, you can see, very, very simple. You don't use any fuel. You find positioning. So the world of plasma has taught us very new things, and that is to move, to create, to be able to produce anything. All we need to do is to create environment and a condition that that environment allows us to get to achieve or to have what we want without damaging anybody else or anything else. At the present, the humans' knowledge and technology is literally has become, what can I destroy to achieve and have? We burn fuel to go from home to school. In fact, burning doesn't destroy anything. You converted the matter into energy of different form. But in the process, you don't have the same thing that you started with. In the universe, nothing ever is lost. All it does, it changes form from one thing to another. One of the processes are with the matter, when you burn, be the wood, be the fuel, you don't miss anything. You just convert it in a dimension that you cannot visibly see it as it was before. What does this mean? Is you put, let's say, a piece of wood in a fire, and it burns. You burn it with a, and then you get the heat. You cook your food on it, or you get warm sitting in front of it. But at the end of the process, you don't have wood anymore, because the energy, the structure of the plasma which made that wood, now partially is part of your body because you absorbed it. Now you have the energy of the wood. You have become absorber of the energy of the wood. Part of the structure of the magnetic field of the wood is sitting in the metal, which was the wood but put in to burn it in a fireplace. Part of the structure is the ashes which you put out. Part of it was the gases which is in the air you breathe, and it's already become part of you. So the wood you burn on the fireplace shares its feels in a different forms, becomes part of you, because without that heat you'll be cold. But in plasma technology, all we do, we connect and link the magnetic fields without burning, without changing the structure. So you start with one magnet or one plasma. You do your job. Whatever you want to do, you move. You can go even dancing with it if you can see it. We've shown this before. If I can show it here. You see, as I showed yesterday, you can dance, huh? But still it stays the same. Nothing is lost because the field they share, and some of the field goes to the paper underneath and the rest. The principle is that what you started with, you stay still physically as you can observe with in the plasma technology. So there is no difference in the world of plasma and matter. But in fact, if we can say the difference is matter is a weak magnet like this. I try to put the other one aside. And plasma is a magnet so powerful like this. You see, if I use this, look at this. Look how far the magnet jumps. Because it says, I don't want to be with you. I'm too strong. And you see how much it pushes it away. And so it creates a gap that they are both safe and they can both share their fields together. I can use this magnet as a plasma for hundreds and thousands of years. And it'll still be what it is. It'll be a magnet. You see, the distance dictated is much, much further if you can see. Before, when it was a smaller magnet, I could interact in the size that you could see. Look, you can see the other magnet. This is a distance I can interact with. But if you can go up in the camera, we cannot see the distance. But if you can go higher with the other one, the distance increases. So this is how the difference is between a plasma and a matter. First of all, matter is the weakest, the smallest plasma field, the strength, and plasma covers the full spectrum of the matter above and below it. So you have the center in the plasma, which is somewhere in here. The strongest field in this magnet does not sit in the matter. Sits somewhere here where the man cannot see. But we become habit of our own eyes. We trust our own eyes. But the field sits the strongest because all the fields come in and go through the center. So, in a way, in a shape, if you look at it, plasma, as we said, always is like this. It is a ball. And that's how, in reality, it looks like. My son is here, and he just made something very nice. I'll show you how it works. He's put a magnet in a ball. And now, if you move this ball in a distance, you can see it. It can affect even a big magnet in its work. It's in the ball. It plays football. There it is. So this is the environment that this magnet in the ball can cover. We create an environment and a distance between the two. And it just rolls and rolls and rolls till they come together. If I can choose another ball, this way you can see how two plasmas interact or they get pulled to each other. We can use the small one, and now you see a dynamic plasma. And if you rotate it, as the plasma is dynamic, you see the ball starts moving without actually doing anything. And in so many ways, this is the world of physics and a plasma. When you're on your own, you're a plasma science. When another piece comes to you, two plasmas make what we call an atom, and this becomes physics. And that's what we talked about last time. And this is exactly how life is. We create an environment that two magnets, two plasmas can come together. Look. So, now, what do we learn from this? What we learn from this is that, as I mentioned earlier, in the world of knowledge of man, we have gone one step further. We have gone one step further and one step closer to understand the truth about the work of the universe, the work of creation, the work of food, how foods are actually made, how our body is made. Because in the next few lessons, we start showing how, when so many of these magnets, as we call it, the plasmatic fields, come together, lead to the structure of the human body, leads to the structure of life, not only on this planet, but in the universe. So, if you understand the simplicity of the work, and don't make it too complicated that you have to be a genius to understand the work of a plasma, soon you learn only two things. You don't need to learn anything more than that. How two plasmas interact. And then it becomes the number of the plasmas, how they interact, and how the environment and the condition is created for them to interact, that one piece becomes your finger, and one plasma becomes part of your eye, and one plasma becomes part of your ear, and one becomes part of your little beautiful heart. But in fact, they're all made of the same thing, the same structure, and in the universe, there is only one structure. Plasmatic magnetic field, which is gravitation coming together, and what we call magnetical, which is a separation. And then how they interact, what is left, when they come in touch with each other, and how they split, leads to the rest of the creation, leads to the rest of what we know, what we look in the sky, the operation of all the stars you see in the sky, all the galaxies you see at night, the sun, the way they work, and this distance from each other, because you don't see all the stars on top of each other, they are distant from each other. The sun has a distance from us. There is no difference between the working of the galaxy and the working of the human body. Human body is a closed galaxy, but it's a galaxy which has chosen to show itself in a regular formation, what we call is the human body. But the beginning of all the creation, what's in the universe and what is on earth, what is in the body of the man, what is in the food you eat, is all the same. All made, based, works on the interaction of two plasmatic magnetic fields in how they come together and how they distance from each other. If you look, the distance between these two, because of the same size, is different. I try not to lose my finger while I'm trying to show you this. If you look, I'll put a marker. This is, if I move this, that's the limit. The minute I move, the other one moves. I'll put a marker there, and I'll put a marker there. Now I change to a bigger magnet in a bigger dimension. And now you see the distance. I keep the small one the same, and I put the big one on the position of his friend. And look what happens. If it comes too fast, it's broken. It is attracted too fast. You have lost. But if I can create the right position, and I can keep the other one in its position, and I move this, look where the other one goes. This one is still in the same place. But now, because of the strength of the bigger one, this one has chosen to be in this position. That's the difference between the strength of the small, too small, and a big and a small. So here we create a different condition. When we put more plasma, a bigger plasma, we create a bigger distance. So it covers more area. Now, this, for example, the first two magnets were in the body of the man, your finger, your toes, and with a bigger one is very much like a galaxies or stars. Something very interesting. If you look, now the magnets come together. And if I turn this, just turn this magnet, it goes the other way. I don't know if you can see it. What has happened? If you look, just look at this magnet. If you can watch it, this magnet rotates. Why does it do that? Have a look. It changes the condition. Just try to see. I keep this steady, but have a look at the other one. This side, I mark it the blue. If you can see it. And then I just turn it, and look what happens. It turns. This is how motion is created in the universe. You have on the same plasma what is too similar or the south, and then when I leave it, if you look, it turns to find its position. This is the behavior of the plasma. In one side, which is similar, and the fields go in the same direction, what we call the north, and on one side, the fields come together in the same position, and they rotate and create motion and rotation. And if you look, this magnet, why it's behaved like this, is because it's broken into halves. Now, you have two halves, the northern half and the southern half. And this is how the creation works in the plasma. What is in the south, all the fields go in, and they have to come out of the north. And if I bring the two together, just watch what happens. They come together in the shape of making a sphere, because they have to accommodate each other, that they can go and pass and share their fields. So you've seen in a simple way. Now you as youngsters have a knowledge which not even your parents were aware of, even though they played with it all the time. When they were young, they had the magnets the way you do, but they never understood that a plasma has two properties at the same time: attracting and repelling due to the magnetic fields which is inside it, which we taught in the first and second lessons. So now I hope you understand what we mean. We create a condition. And as we create condition, we dictate what is going to be and how far it's going to be. Any questions? No question.
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. That was very interesting. I did have a question. You did bring up something about magnetic fields and how they interact. And I was wondering, how can we keep warm just with magnetic gravitational fields? Would it be some sort of way of heating the air? Would it heat our bodies? How do we keep warm in the plasma universe?
In a plasma universe, you make your sun, or where do you want the heat to come from, to move faster or slower in respect to you. If the magnetic field moves faster with a more power strength, then their interaction with your body is just like a rubbing of the hands. When you rub two hands together, fast it gets warmer and warmer. As you go with the plasma is different. As you go more to the center, the stronger field interacts with the weaker body, they release more energy. The process of the heating, there is no heat itself is a magnetic field. It depends how much of it you want to release from the source. Then that becomes the heat, the temperature, what you want to be in. But the only difference is with a heating with a plasma, you don't need to put a match on it, or you don't need to heat, to what you call it, to burn it, or to compress it to explode. You go towards the center, or you move from the center on depending where the strength has to be, or you open the plasma that the stronger field reaches you, that you feel warmer. In the future heating, you have the plasma reactors for heating in the future will be totally different than what a man is used to. It warms you up according to the strength of your gravitational magnetic field of your body. And this is very important. The structure, wherever you go, according to the heat you want, it'll be heated up. That's where you are. At the moment, if you put a fireplace and there is a chair in front of it, the chair gets heated up and other things with it. In plasma technology, these things are not and will not happen. The wood, the chair, the steel will stay, but according to the strength of your body, because it's different structure, you can just direct wherever you walk, wherever you move, heats up according to where you are, in the direction you are and the environment you are. The plasma technology of the heating is a very, very simple but very, very complicated tool if you don't understand it. But it's literally, there is no difference. It's the interaction of the plasma, but on the strength of the plasma. And you never lose it. It's always the same. In a way, when you come into the room nowadays, you turn up the lights and you dimmer it or you lighten it up. The heating in the future with the plasma technology is very much the same. But you decide how much of the plasma you're going to release at what the strength you want to be.
Thank you.
Any
Thank
other
you for that.
We'll come back to this heating because it'll be very, very interesting. How you're going to do your cooking with the plasma reactors.
Right.
I tell you one thing, for sure you'll never burn any food. Burning of the food in cooking is finished. You will never burn your cake in the oven. Because the process of the heating is set as much as you need at the point of what you need, the way it has to be.
And Mr. Kesh, you eventually wouldn't need any, in my opinion, health-damaging microwave oven, which a lot of people use, which not only distorts the taste, but does the nourishment quality of a food. Isn't that that would be a chance, to?
Let me explain to you. You call it microwave. The plasma cooking facilities of the future will not be very far from the microwaves we have, but will be in the plasma environment. And it is actually, we'll come to understand that what you call microwave to be harmful because they are raised, they are created in a certain given direction, and they are not in a what I call a spherical cascading form. They are like putting, what do you call it, a bucket of water and just showering from one direction. That's why they dislocate the structure of the atom and they create the problems.
Oh, okay. Thank you for that.
In the plasma technology cooker ovens of the future, you reach the plasma in the way you want, and the ovens will not be very different than microwaves, but it'll be with the plasma. This is I've done a lot of tests on this, and very soon I'll show you, because it's a very interesting position. Cooking time is instantaneous. The cooking time with the plasma reactors of the future is more or less instantaneous. It is something man cannot imagine, but you will see it in a very short time. Burning of the food is something that a lot of women will love plasma reactors, because none of them can spoil food and none of them can burn the food. They all become very good housewives and very good husband housekeepers, because the men usually burn the food more than the women do, because they don't know what to do. Now everybody becomes a perfect cook.
Well, there's a good selling point for plasma technology. Become a perfect cook.
Armin says, what about washing the dishes? There are no dishes to wash.
We have to invent the plasma dishwasher before the plasma cooking.
Anyway, it's an exciting time, what is to come and what is going to be. Is there any question? We answer, otherwise we keep it to 40 minutes, because I know after 40 minutes the children become impatient. I have one here. You can go your fish now. You can stay if you like, no problem. Come on. You want to explain something? Can you close the door, please? Close the door. Okay. Yeah. Is there any question you want to ask?
Not for now,
No,
Mr. Cash.
Okay.
Clarified a lot of things. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. I hope we will learn. And as I said, we're going to go to sleep. And in exactly 12 hours, we start the session for the adults.
Yep.
And we see if we can teach the adults a little bit of children.
That's right. That'll be the 35th Knowledge Seekers Workshop on 11 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday and 8 a.m. Central European Time on Thursday. And you can find that on the same channel as this live stream.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Cash. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. Cash.
See you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Good evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, everybody. Thank you on live stream, and thanks to everybody for participating in the workshop. And that wraps up the 5th Kids Knowledge Seekers Workshop.